Hello, YouTube. We are here today for one of our many army book review balance update changes. And strap in, folks, because this is a big one.
It really
KOE,
is. Mm.
Kingdom of Equitaine, the cavalry dudes are getting an update, but of course, because they're sort of going through the patch, the alpha, beta patch, whatever, they get a
Yeah.
huge update, and one of the only ones with rules that change
Mm.
and everything. So this is a full
And
full
not
blown.
even just a couple. There's a lot
There is a lot.
of,
There is.
of changes to things.
Yes.
Um,
So this isn't your standard balance patch one. This is a almost a more in depth one. However, we will refer to the Cavalier's Tale, Wes Wheeler, for if you want to go there for a more in-depth insight into
I'm
the
sure
KOE.
he will have more accurate insights as to the
Yes.
connotations of different
Um,
things.
so we'll go through it as your bite size um, uh, friendly review. But if you want an ACS with probably reasons why they've changed it and a bit more insight as to what that will cause and what effects that'll have, go to
Yeah.
Cavalier's Tale because he's a man.
Mm.
But also within these, there are, as always, some fluff snippets added. So
Amazing.
part of this update, they're adding fluff. None so much as the maps that tell you where everything is, which is quite cool. I quite like that.
Yeah. 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 I
Um,
mean, are they in Avarice?
yes,
Like the kind of
Avarice is
that's not
here, isn't it?
Avarice. No,
Where's
Avarice
Avarice?
is over like Istanbul area.
Okay,
But yeah, Turkey.
sure.
I don't know if that's technically right, but yeah.
Okay. But yes, but they're there in that sort of area, and they all have snippets of fluff.
It is a green and bountiful land in western Betia. Equitaine is a mysterious realm of misted vales, enchanted lakes, and many strange creatures. But most of all, it's the home of a mighty human kingdom, answering a great monarch, fine lords, and a single goddess above all. Following an ancient code of chivalry, the nobility of this land has honed an equestrian heritage surpassing any other. Equitaine's armies boast ranks of warrior knights, clad in colourful panoply, bristling with ornaments and trained in a ferocious martial tradition. Renowned across the world, for it often campaigns in other lands. When this tide of valiant cavalry begins its charge, there is almost nothing that can stand in its way.
There you go. Well said.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, if you're also, I'll do another plug. If you're a fan of horses, go to Matty P for the horsing hour. I'm sure
Absolutely.
he'll answer all your questions on it. But yeah, there is a decent amount of fluff on the second page of that. There's all about the sainted and the lady and the fae, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Lots to read about. And as we go along, I won't go down too much, but there are little snippets going on
Mm.
unit entries and army specific rules and things like that. So let us know what your favourite KOE fluff bit is.
Yeah. And I think
And
it's cool. It's almost like choosing your favorite theme within the book, actually. Because, like, do you
yeah,
like the Fae aspects? Do you like the blessing aspects? The damsel sort of thing? You know that. So there's lots of different aspects to Equitane that
yeah. So
might pique your fancy. So
yeah, and
mm.
let us know what you think of the addition of the fluff as well
Mm.
to the books. Do you like that? I think we're genuinely in favour.
Oh, 100%.
Generally in favour. So yeah, do you like that? And if so, why? And if not, why? Let us know.
Mm.
But yeah, as we said, we're going to do a bit of a review. We won't go too much on that, but so if you do want to check it out, download, take a look. It's pretty cool, and read it for yourself. But yes, one of the books that have lots of rule changes is KOE, and as we get
Mm.
down to the model army model rules, we get straight stuck in with it. So
Yeah.
clear your throats, get ready, children. Gallantry. So this now stacks. If you have multiple instances on any model, it now stacks. There might only
Yes.
be one or two of this instances and things, but now be aware that it does stack.
Hmm. Yeah.
Moving on down, we go to the courage, the personal protections. So courage, honesty, and ordeal. Within courage, the ignore friendly units entirely and models with ordeal for the purpose of panic has gone. Been taking that
Yes.
out.
I think
And
it's a nice simplification there.
yeah,
You know, because it's already a hard thing to remember. You know,
yeah.
when things occur in game and emotions are running heavy. So yeah, I
It's
think that's
essentially then, and it sort of ties in with ordeal. Is it kind of gives ordeal insignificant. Um,
yes,
so that's what they're giving into them, so that they don't cause panic checks for all your models and things.
yeah,
So
mm,
that's what those both are. Just a little synergy
yeah.
updates there.
I also think it makes it easy for your opponent to track it and help you out with it as the battle goes on, because understanding an opponent's book is an art in itself, and sometimes when there's more rules to remember, it makes it trickier. So I like that.
Yeah, and talking about getting rid of rules, they've taken away mount support completely.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm. I don't know how
That's an
much
interesting
that
one.
affects some of the mounts,
Yeah, yeah.
but we'll see. Yeah, maybe it's just an easy thing. Breath of the Lady, the original, the 7 Plus stays the same, but there is an added smaller version. Basically now,
Mm.
for 4 Plus you can get 1 token. 7 Plus you get 2.
Yeah,
So yeah, adds a bit of depth to it, but otherwise does the same thing.
it does mean like if you're doing a spell, your last spell of the magic phase, and you fail to cast it and you fizzle with one of them, then you've got something to throw that one dice at.
Yep.
Like we've all been there when we've saved dice for our final spell. The opponent's out of dice. You roll it because you're getting the spell off, and then something terrible happens, and
Double
you just don't
ones.
get anything.
Yeah.
At least in this sense, you've got one dice to roll a 4-up to try
Yeah,
and salvage
totally.
something.
Yeah,
So,
very very gettable 3 Plus
mm,
with the master sort of thing. So yeah, I like that. I'll give a bit of
agreed.
variety there. Um, Divine Judgment is just there's a couple of them that look like they've changed. Divine Judgment, Mortal Reminder, Ultimate, but they've just added and, so we won't go too
Okay,
much into that.
semantics. Yeah.
Divine Judgment has gone up in price from 70 points to 75 points as well. So
Okay.
there's something to bear in mind. Tristan's Resolve now works on paired weapons. Very interesting one. So you basically get the actual Tristan's Resolve give you an extra attack, basically 2 attacks and ignore parry and +1 offensive skill. Because why would you
It's
not
very
choose
good.
it on paired weapons now?
Well, now you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be hugely taken. So definitely get reading on that one and see what that is.
Yeah.
Mortal Reminder stayed the same. Uth's Metal, 30 points now. That's down from 35. So getting a bit cheaper, a bit of internal competition maybe.
Hmm.
There. Armor enchantments, Percival's Penelope.
Panoply.
Panoply. Now you can use it.
Monopoly. Yeah.
Whatever it is. It has gone down from 70 to 65, and you can use it on Towering Presence models.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
That's
I'm
good,
not.
right?
Yeah, I guess it is, but it's a heavy. But still, bear in mind it's a heavy armor enchantment. So, like
Yeah.
the bigger stuff. So,
Wouldn't
like
get
for
any
example, a
bonus to
dragon. I
armor
know you
anyway.
don't have
Yeah,
one here,
sure.
but if it was
Mm.
gigantic, you wouldn't get that bonus. So I guess there's like a hippogriff. I know
It's
is
an
still
unnecessary
cavalry.
addition. Yeah.
So, well, sometimes it is, but yeah, I don't know whether there's some that can and can't. So just bear that in mind when you're doing it. But it has gone down,
Yeah.
and it's going to be useful on some things. I'm pretty sure that we'll get onto it later, but
Mm.
we'll
Park
we'll
that one.
pin that, yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Pin that for like the hippogriff, etc. And we'll see
Yeah,
if
we'll
that
see
works on
what
that.
has and hasn't got towering presence to judge it. Mm.
Yeah, Fortress of Faith changed in the way it works. I believe it's reworked to it's not a reroll anymore. It's now +1 armor in a unit.
Okay. Yeah, so it's quite a different function actually then. Yeah.
Yeah. So Probably allowing that 1-up armor a little bit easier,
Yeah.
but only if you're with rank and file units, so not
Yeah.
on your own.
It's a lot cheaper as well. It's 15 points cheaper. So that is demonstrative of it being a completely different item, really.
Yes, exactly. Very, very different, very changed. Let's see if that
Yeah.
comes in the park. In terms of banners, the ladies' favor has been reworked, I believe. Oh no, it's been added completely.
Okay.
Increases BSB range and the unit gains reroll failed discipline tests.
That's very good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
really interesting.
So Relic Shrouds got cheaper or more expensive?
The Relic Shroud has got cheaper,
A lot cheaper.
significantly, 65 to
Wow.
35.
Well, that I suppose. I mean, I made a similar comment in the ID book about Glory of Gold being a lot cheaper, didn't I? Or cheaper generally. And this is obviously another bound spell on an item. So yeah, I guess maybe that's the way they're going with these bound spell within
bound
items.
spells. Yeah, it's a bit strange because I saw them being used a decent amount as a as a bound spell. So yeah, I guess is that because now it's the first version and can't be amplified to the bigger version?
Yeah, could well be. So you're only getting yes, it would be. You're only
so that
getting
makes
one
actually
token.
quite a bit more sense in that regard.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Fans of Banner of Eland? I'm afraid it's gone.
It has gone.
It was an interesting one. I think.
Yeah.
It was one of those where, it sort of gave you a second chance, but then they just didn't charge you if it happened. So.
Yeah, it was kind of built for the Knights of the Resplendent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, it became a bit too niche, I think. But like you say, it almost could charge for free, and then your opponent wouldn't charge you anyway because they knew you'd be just as good. So,
taken out and added in the ladies' favor because of it. So I think a generally more usable banner,
I think so.
reliable banner as well. So in terms of artifacts, the Black Knight's Tabard has changed. It's now 50 points. It used to be 45, so that's gone up ever so slightly. Sacred Chalice has the opposite effect from 20 down to 15. So some slight 5 points here, 5 points there, sort of jobbies. The most beloved servants of the ladies are the damsels. And of course, we all know best used as chaff. These girls.
Gobbo's face when you did that.
Yeah, no. In terms of their base stat, all the same. The cost is the same as well. If you want them sainted, they have changed. Got 30 to 25. You get the discipline, but obviously the offensive and defense doesn't really do anything for you. So I guess that's why. The steeds wise, we've got down for the Heraldic Steed, 25 to 20, Pegasus Charger, 25 to 20, and the Face Steed, 40 to 35. However, the Unicorn has gone up from 80 to 85.
Okay.
Destria, the same, bro.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
So, mount changes, there's a few different points. Sainted's gone down.
Seems to be a running theme, doesn't it?
Which is the same. Yeah, mounts, yeah, it does actually. Perhaps a general...
The bigger the mount, the more you're likely to pay, but the cheaper mounts are getting cheaper from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking about getting cheaper, Equitaine Lord base cost from 140 to 120.
I'm surprised.
However, a lot of his stuff will he gains gallantry if you're sainted.
Okay, which does restrict you a bit more.
And then obviously if you then get one of the mounts that have gallantry, it all stacks as we've noticed. So there's that. In terms of the mounts for the Equitaine Lord, the Destry has gone from 85 to 75, but the Fey Steed's gone up from 140 to 155, and the Hippogriff up from 225 to 245. So 20 points.
I'll tell you what,
bigger.
The Equitaine Hippogriff just goes through the ringer, doesn't it? You never really know what edition you're going to get. Are you going to get the cheap version or the expensive version or the just right version?
Yeah,
I must be one of the most changed options in any book.
Yeah.
And that's not a criticism. That's just because it's so hard to value.
Yeah, it
You
must
know?
be quite a fine line for that one. Same with the Great Weapon. The Great Weapon actually goes down 35 to 30, so you can take that bit more. In terms of the knightly principles, quite a bit of change throughout. The Valor is gone up from 80 to 85, yeah. Honor has gone up from 60 to 65. Justice down from 55 to 50. And we've got some changes in terms of excellence, forbearance, and faith. First, excellence. Looking at that one, it's gains lethal strike that, when triggered, do multiple wounds too, but it loses the +2 AP.
Yeah, it's an intriguing one. I mean, obviously, in Saurians, I've taken an item that's quite similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess. So, I mean, the +2 AP was always.
hmm
Whereas this is no, you don't get any armor on a lethal strike. Still,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
rolling the 6. So it's an interesting one. I think it makes it a bit more niche than it was before. So I'm not
yeah,
sure. So maybe just showing how good it was previously,
yeah. I mean,
I
you've
guess.
always got lethal strike, but you're so much better in the duels, aren't you? I
Yeah,
mean, I haven't said this very often in this update, but it seems quite pricey for what it does.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I
Because
haven't
of the
said that
lethal
often.
strike.
So,
Lethal strike, I guess multiple wounds too, and not being D3 as well is quite
mm,
reliable when you get the lethal strike, but actually having to now roll the lethal strike, I think is quite
yeah.
different.
Although you get that in the right situation, your opponent has got to accept with the character, and they might not want to suffer that multiple wounds too. So
Mm,
it can't be much cheaper because it could just be so good for you at the right time.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I see this being on a paired weapons with the reroll to wound. I
hmm
think being probably the best way of getting the most out of it, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong there. Forbearance, we move on to that one, and we have it's limited to models without towering presence only.
Okay.
So that's the change in this one. It used to be a distracting. I think hippogriffs have
Powering presence.
towering presence, so I think this is stopping hippogriffs
Yeah.
be tanky.
Even though they're not gigantic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's part of it. And faith, with faith, you also gain fearless now. So,
Mm.
so that's an additional change. Otherwise, apart from the points changes to valor, honor, and justice, everything stayed the same points wise.
Mm. Yeah. There's going to be a few tweaks in builds because of that, but
For sure,
it's
for
all
sure.
good.
Yeah. Over to the paladin, and the paladin actually gets a bit cheaper, I think. Yep, 140 to 125. So the base cost goes down. Has gained gallantry again as part being sainted.
Yeah.
And great weapon once again goes down from 35 to 30. So great. That's sort of a running theme throughout the characters. Great weapons go down. Gallantry gets added to sainted,
hmm
unless you're a damsel.
Yeah.
And then the mounts change quite. The mounts cost is where the
Yeah.
big cost change is. Destria goes down from 80 to 65, quite a big change.
That
The
is.
unicorn goes down from 80 to 65, whereas the phase steed and hippogriff both go up by 15 points each. So
Okay.
the small amounts get cheaper, the big amounts get
Yeah.
more expensive. Again, running along with the kind of theme, if you wanted to sum it up in terms of that. So single
Mm.
models, I guess, is what they're trying to stop as much as possible with points.
Maybe, or at least make them, you've got to think a bit twice before putting that more points into it.
Yeah, and how many of them you can actually afford. Moving over
Mm.
to Folk Hero, the actual base cost of Folk Hero has gone down from 90 to 85, so not much. Once again, the biggest change with them is the mounts cost. So
Yes.
Pegasus Charger down by 5 points. In fact, all of them are down by 5. Oh no, they're not. Pegasus Charger down by 5 points. Revered Unicorn down by 5 points. The Destria down by 10 points. and the
The
heraldic
unicorn was
steed.
down by 10 as well, actually. But yeah.
Oh, they all bad. Oh, yeah, fair enough. So
No, you were right up until that point. But yeah, the
yeah.
unicorn's 10 points.
But basically, all got cheaper.
Yeah.
Is what you want to hear, and that's good. And just in general as well, all the heroic traits. Quinn got cheaper by 5 points.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good one. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And Castellan got cheaper by 10 points. So that's a strange one because a lot of the cowboy folk heroes were taking Castellan. So that's an interesting one for me. And obviously it gets the commander presence for Ordeal, so
Yeah,
nice.
it's like you can be a cowboy, but you're also supporting your army until you become that cowboy. Yeah.
Yeah. The man of the people, which I guess is what
what
folk
Castellan
hero
is.
yeah,
even more so,
so looking at the mounts, the only thing we are going to check is what happens with the extra support, because that's gone now. So
yes, it is.
The heraldic steeds gets plus.
Well, in fact, it was only
attack.
mount support they took out, but this has lost extra support as well, and I
Okay,
guess
there you
that's
go.
because it combines with mount support, right? Or they've just taken out the supporting attacks side of things.
Well, it had extra support 3 because when you charged with it, it gained +2 attacks. Now it has devastating charge only +1, so only a maximum of 2 attacks on the charge, and now doesn't happen when you're in the second rank. Is what I'm gathering.
I can't help but look at that and think, wow, did it really have +21 attacks originally?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, so that's what's the biggest change to that. Revered Unicorn, or Revered, sorry. No changes to its actual rules. Same with Pegasus Charger, apart from actually Gallantry goes down from 2 to 1.
But I imagine that's because the rider himself has gone up 1. Yeah. So that's fair.
It hasn't really, but it will. If we look at the hippogriff,
let's read the fluff of the hippogriff before we get into the actual change, because the largest of the mortal mounts. Wow, that's a good opening line, isn't it? Commonly used by Equitaines in battle. Hippogriffs are ferocious beasts, combining the front half of an eagle and the back half of a horse. Powerful both over ground and in the air. The cost of their breeding and maintenance means that only the lords of the land can feasibly afford to keep such a prized animal.
And Matty P. I've been told that he's got one in his priory.
I'm pretty sure he has. Yeah. The off limits part of his estate,
Yeah. Hippogriff has obviously is a large cavalry, so we were right in thinking it's not gigantic, so that +2 armor thing does now work on it, so that's good.
However, well, no, does it though? Because
it will, but you won't, because you can now not have a shield and get to 2 up. But there is a freedom of flight where its armor can never be improved beyond 5, so you can never have better than a 2 up.
Yeah.
So if you've got heavy armor, you're on this, and you've got that +2, that gets you to 2, which frees up your arms for either a paired weapon or a great weapon.
Yeah, or if you fancy just wielding a trumpet, or
or just waving,
or just your party popper on your way in. What that's also available now.
Yeah, absolutely. So a few things that's changed with the hippogriff, and probably one of the ones that some of the changes in the items are steered towards as well.
Yeah.
Face Steed is now exclusive, so cannot join units. The Face Steed, I think that might be similar to what it was before, but just it's been added to the unit entry. I'm not sure if that is a new one completely. Then fair enough.
Is exclusive can't join units? Well, that was loner, or have I got my things?
Yeah,
is loner now exclusive?
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
I think loner was just something that the name of some of them.
Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But Gallantry 1 is also added to it.
You're
again.
Absolutely right.
That stacks with things, so be careful of that when you're doing your list building. Moving on to the core, the feudal knights. Now, in terms of points wise, the feudal knights additional models go up, so getting slightly more expensive.
That's interesting.
Because it was a great unit. It's
yes.
I cannot remember a list without at least one feudal knights in.
Absolutely,
so that makes sense.
Yeah. It really does.
Hedge knights gone from 0 to 18 models to 0 to 15. So you can't have two max units of them.
No, no.
So you can have a max and a small, or
Hmm.
7 and 8, if you
Somewhere in
wish,
between.
yeah, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But you can't have, which is an interesting. I'm not.
Ooh.
There might be reasons for it, but I can't say I'm overly as not talking power level, but I think in terms of just having that, I think that's just more confusion that is not needed.
Yeah. Are they up in gallantry then? Oh, I mean, is that the were they gallantry
Uh,
2 before?
Gallantry 2, I think they go to Gallantry 1 to Gallantry 2,
Okay, that's
or
quite.
did they have any Gallantry at all?
Don't know. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Can't see that change. Gain
They've
gallantry
gained.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they had it actually in the first place. Also, their devastating charge loses the agility and minus defense, so they keep their
And
stats.
minimized panic test is gone. It's quite a lot to lose for the same amount of points you're paying,
Yeah,
isn't it?
same amount of points. I quite like the devastating charge change your stats, because I think
Yes.
that's annoying for most people to keep. There's enough rules. There's enough
Yeah.
rules there. So I quite like that anyway. Although it does nerf them somewhat, because the
Mm.
agility is everything.
Yeah. I think it's a big
With the
nerf for that
charge.
unit overall, really,
Yeah,
considering you're paying the same points. And
it
they're
is
not
in
even a
core.
scoring
Obviously,
unit, so
I guess the biggest thing is that last time they got moved to core, and now
yes.
they're getting balanced for
Brought down
core.
to core level. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's right. Yeah, you've got
I think is
made a good
what's
point there.
happening there. But yeah, so that's them. Auto sergeants stay exactly the same. Thank goodness.
Hmm.
Whew. Move on.
Yeah.
Lowborn levies gain insignificant, and halberd and shield is now free.
Okay.
Otherwise they stay the same. The insignificant part is just keeping with the ordeal, I think, and the
Yeah,
change
I think
to
so.
that as well.
Hmm.
Lowborn archers. That was
Same,
always going to be
insignificant.
insignificant thing. There was always going to be a change in points for these guys. They
Yeah.
go, however, they go down. I wasn't.
Mm.
I was quite surprised to see that they go down. I think it's because they lost accurate, didn't lose points,
Yes,
and then
they did.
you know
No
what?
one took them
They need to
anymore.
lose points. So
Yeah,
120 from 125 and down a point a model. Thereafter,
and
prepared
prepared position
position
is also 5 points. Yeah,
5 points cheaper. So overall, if you, in any regard, if you're taking low one archers, they're going to get cheaper.
yeah. Mm.
Special men at arms. Now, men at arms are an interesting unit. You
Yeah.
have seen them, but not necessarily with any real umph and actual. It haven't worked so much from what I've seen. People
Yeah,
have definitely tried them in
yeah,
their.
it's the static combat res carrier is
Yes.
then probably the most common usage, or at least the way I've played against
Yeah.
them.
So how effective they actually are is probably the thing. And again, in terms of internal balance, I think making them even more appealing by dropping them by 5 points base and 1 point per extra model. My OCD says I don't like the change from 15 to 14. Thank you very much.
We're back on
Um,
that. Yeah, it's
but
been a while.
yeah, it has.
Mm.
But I'd noticed it and I didn't like it. Otherwise, it's fair enough. They're not that great, so I don't think it's a massive change. Oh, I did miss the Auto Wardens part of the Men at Arms. That goes up from 1 to 2.
Okay.
So if you
Well,
want
that
them
seems to be a
Wardens,
way that they're tweaking great weapons on units, aren't they? That seems to be quite a common
yeah.
thing.
Although the
It's
great
like they're
weapons for
assessing how
the
useful a great weapon is to each unit,
yeah
and pricing it accordingly.
yeah, because they are. I mean, the characters are all going down for great weapons, but these guys go up. So yeah, great weapons in general might be being looked at.
Yeah, and I suppose
Good
that's
point.
also in conjunction with their additional models being a bit cheaper. You're
Yeah,
paying for it if you're taking them with great weapons. So
yeah, well, for sure now.
mm.
The reliquary goes down from 195 to 180, so and gains fearless. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad. I guess can in that
Although
regard.
usually this is going to be the war platform in a unit, so isn't the majority of models have to be fearless for that to be a problem?
Don't know,
I
but
think I think I think yeah.
you can't flee, is what I mean, though, right?
I think you can unless the majority of your models are fearless. I'll double check that as we go through.
Interesting.
But
Yeah, well, put it in the
yeah,
comments as well if you know, because
I might not get it right in a minute. Yeah.
yeah, not sure otherwise.
Yeah, if more than
Um,
half of a unit's models are fearless, the unit automatically passes panic and cannot declare a flee charge reaction.
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, unless you're taking this model on its own,
We should.
that fearless isn't going to have too much of an effect. I wouldn't imagine. But like we've already requested, say in the comments if I'm missing a trick there, because I probably am.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the addition of fearless does to that unit.
Yeah, what is it trying to achieve there?
Yeah, what subtle thing is that helping it out with? Has gone down and gained fearless, so that's not
Exactly,
a terrible thing. Knights Resplendent, one of those janky units really that are the epitome of rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Gone down in points for the base cost, now 315 points from 325. The Knights Resplendent Knight of the Court option has gone down as well, so that gives you bodyguard. So it was one of them. That got meshed. There was a unit that provided bodyguard that then got meshed into this, I think, as an option. In one of the last iterations, and then that's gone down again. But they have, as well as getting slightly cheaper, they have gained +1 agility.
That's massive. That's huge for a unit that
so they're now actually
not only
6
is
on the
charging.
Yeah,
that's very good.
Not that many things that's base agility 6 or higher. So
especially not in men as opposed to elves. You know.
Exactly. They are super quick guys.
Elves beware on that one.
Very much so. Chosen as well is another thing I can think of being agility 6. So big ones there. Overall, a buff to Resplendence. Knights Penitent.
Your favourites.
Yeah. The models used to be 3 to 6, they're now 3 to 8, so you can get slightly more of them with 2 HP and unstable now. That really is quite good. I did like them when they were unstable before. So that's a good change in my eyes. Fearless and unstable means they can go out on the flanks as well. So that little combo. The initial price has gone down as well, so 260 to 250, and then 75 points thereafter. Quite like those maths. It's good maths. Nice, easy to work out. Vow of Redemption. Now I'm going to look at this. Units with at least one model with Vow of Redemption may never have more ranks than files. So that just means don't be janky conga lining, right?
Yeah.
In addition, folk heroes with cleric may join that unit and gain unstable while joined in. It loses all the other things, so gaining stubborn while having at least as many files ranks. So it's lost the stubborn part of it, but it's gained unstable. So that's the big change for them. I mean, stubborn, it was great actually, but unstable's not too.
But then stubborn isn't useful with unstable, is it? So.
No, well, you would lose half with unstable.
Oh, is it half?
Stubborn. So it would be hugely useful with unstable.
I thought it was the one that restricted it to 12, but I'm getting the wrong one. Yeah.
No, but yeah, so unstable, it's like you're a zombie, right? So you lose whatever
you're
lose
a zombie.
Combat, which is exactly, man. But yeah, so that's really useful. I really like that, and a really good tar pit for the Knights Kingdom of Equitaine there. Knights of the Quest, the normally the unit that is guaranteed to change in some regard changes not in any way, shape or form.
They've hit a sweet spot.
That has got to be the surprise of the whole book. With all these changes everywhere, Knights of the Quest stay the same.
Usually it's the first name on the team sheet for the changes.
It is, absolutely. What are we going to do about these guys? But no, they stay exactly the same. So if you were hoping for something with them, you will be disappointed.
I love in their fluff it says embracing hardship and toil. Yes, they have. But now they're good.
Yeoman Outriders, the price for them has gone up. They're very good. They're good chaff in an army that really could do with chaff. Otherwise, they stay the same. So all the other options exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Enlisted Outlaws gained significant as per other things. Gained
Ordeal.
quick to fire as general, in
Okay.
general, rather than having to use it as an option. So they
Okay.
get quick to fire with both longbow and crossbow now, which is really interesting one. That makes them a lot better and more versatile in my eyes.
Oh, how does that work? Quick to fire and unwieldy on a crossbow, isn't it? That's an interesting one.
Quick to fire. Oh yeah.
How's that work? How's that interact? I'm trying to process that in terms of rules. Is
I would say you just
unwieldy?
don't get the initial moving, because unwieldy just means you suffer an additional one, right?
Yeah, but then if you're quick to fire, you don't suffer penalty for moving.
You
Does
don't
that
suffer
take
the
away
first
unwieldy?
penalty. Yeah, the
Right.
way I would get it in my head with like literally 2 seconds of looking at it would be
Well, yeah.
you don't get the first
You may as
instance
well
of
just not be
moving.
unwieldy and not be quick to fire. Just take both away. Cancel all
But
each other out.
yes, but as you've got both rules, I think it'd be that way. If it takes the other one, if it takes both away, then that's amazing.
Yeah,
Simply
crossbows
put,
are the way
that's
to go. Yeah.
huge to this unit. However, I would
Yeah.
surmise.
I'll have a quick look at quick to fire.
Yeah.
And unwieldy actually, just while you're carrying on.
Yeah. So a bit. Otherwise, prepared position is down, I think, for the Enlisted Outlaws from 25 to 20. So yeah, the biggest one is the change for quick to fire, going into the profile itself rather than being on the longbow. So yeah, interesting for them. I'm very keen to hear how that works with unwieldy. I do think it's just the one you'd knock off, but if it knocks off both, I think you'd be seeing a lot of crossbows.
Oh, actually, in fact, with unwieldy, actually specifically tells you what happens when combined with quick to fire. The attack can only ignore the normal -1 to hit modifier for moving and shooting, not the additional -1 to hit modifier from unwieldy. So you're exactly right. It's just as though you didn't have either rule, effectively.
Yeah. Which is
fine.
Siege weapons, and I'm always keen to see this. However, this time the trebuchets have gone up in price.
But they're higher strength. What are you whinging about?
But they're higher strength, so I shouldn't really whinge. So it's okay.
How much higher points are they?
I think it's 25.
You're about to tell me.
Points.
Okay. Oh, it's
I will
quite significant.
Yes, from 165 to 190, which
okay. Combined,
obviously. But the big thing of it is the trebuchet goes back up to strength 5. It has no single shot though. It's still bear in mind.
Quite big.
But all of them are now strength 5. So
that's quite heavy, isn't it? I mean, literally quite heavy. Landing on top of you, that is quite a heavy thing to land on you at strength 5. Yeah. Well, to be fair, strength 4 would absolutely destroy me.
It's very bludgeoning, but not much piercing.
Yes. Yes. Regard. A little bit of piercing. A little bit of piercing.
Just one piercing. Yeah.
Jagged rock, but yeah.
Peg Knights. Peg Knights, generally speaking, got a bit of love this update. Pegasus Knights used to be 320 now for base cost, and 75 for the models thereafter. It's now 310 and 70. So your bigger units will get down by about 25 points. Happy days.
Okay. Yeah.
Add in an extra banner somewhere.
But you can't, because one of the banners has been taken away. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Not the banner in the yard.
No, that's gone.
Sky Heralds. So starting on the points of it, the Sky Heralds go once again, like the Peg Knights, go down from 215 to 210 base cost, and 35 points. And now 35 points a model, used to be 40. So cheaper in terms of the actual unit. The Herald has gained +1 attack and extra support 3. I'm not sure. I suppose if you can get a spell to give them an extra attack, then great. Oh no, because you can choose paired weapons. That's why.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So those bigger units of Sky Heralds, actually, the guys on top are pretty useful now. Giving out lots of paired weapon, strength 4 AP ones. However, the mounts themselves have been nerfed somewhat in that regard. Devastating charge +1 rather than +2, and don't get the extra mount support stuff.
Yeah, I think probably it's just evened out amongst the mount and the rider, really. Yeah. Or that's the idea, anyway.
Giving the unit the attacks back in some regard that way. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Probably means paired weapons can be used a lot more.
Yeah.
As well. Moving on to the Fae. Oh, goodness me. Naiads, the points go down. Fair enough. But do
interesting
change.
to see a conclave not change points for the champion. Actually,
yes, it
that
is.
seems to be the way they've gone with it. But,
against the grain, does change its spell Savage Fury
they've
to
got
Swarm of Insects.
That's brilliant on Naiads. Yeah, that's so good, so good. Oh, they've got Deceptive Glamour and Swarm of Insects. Oh, they're just so good, right?
Well, Mercurical, Mystical, and Merciless Naiads will want Supernals, don't you know?
Ah, but they're not in Supernal anymore.
Well, they've been bonded to watery mortal forms now, so.
Oh, I see. I forgot to read on. Yes, my bad.
Friar's Lanterns, 2 S's, have gone up in points, 100 to 120. The additional is actually lost some March as well, and gained a Discipline. But is still fearless and all that jazz. It now must not choose Flee as a charge reaction.
No.
So it must stay where it is. There. Which means it's not the best.
So you can charge it now. Is that right?
You can charge it and it will die.
Oh, absolutely.
Its stats are terrible.
It's almost as squishy as an Anorak, basically.
So... Yeah, so quite a few things. It obviously doesn't have Feign Flight, doesn't have the Illusions special rule, so it can flee despite having things, and doesn't have Skirmisher.
No.
So still has a hard
do beware, it is Agility 10. That's pretty darn quick.
It is, with its Strength 1 grind.
Yeah. I mean, you better have impact hits or you're going to be in trouble against that.
Yeah. That's a cold, hard fact, that is.
I told you, that's what we'd be giving. Yeah.
However, the compromise of that, and again, probably the warranting of the price hike, is it now gives 3 or negative advance rate and march rate if you sweep over it. So it used to be 2 advance rate and march rate. You lost to a minimum of 3 for both, but it's now 3. So it works on those quicker things. And things with banner speed.
Wow, that's a significant. I mean, my head's just blown with whether this is a nerf or not, because
I think it is. I think it is because you used to do, mechanically speaking, I used to be able to do lots of shenanigans with a fearless.
Yes, just a constant annoyance.
Flight, thing. However, now you will actually be able to. And the less loss of some march range, which is quite crucial for a unit that you're going to be doing this with. I think, I think it is a nerf, for sure. But then you do get the added bonus if you can work it off as well. So it works differently. So it used to work very funkily. Now it's going to work a lot more traditionally, and but with a bit more of a limitation here. So. No, I'm not sure. This might be too much of a nerf in my eyes for this thing, but we'll see.
People just might not take it because it takes too long to figure out what it does.
Yeah. The Ladies' Courtier, very, very popular unit. For sure. It is lost, before we get into points and things, it has lost 1 pip of AP and 2 pips of agility. Now, I always thought those stats were a bit silly. So personally, I don't mind that too much. However, they did make this unit very, very, very good. So bearing that in mind, the points for it have dropped from 455 to 430. And the Courtier of the Dusk, specifically, the Dawn, in fact, actually, both of them go down.
Okay.
The Courtier of the Dusk upgrade, it was 40 points. Oh no, I don't forget what it was. My notes say something different. However, the Courtier of the Dusk is now 10 points as opposed to, I think it was 30.
Yeah, in the change log, the price changes combined the actual price with the upgrade.
Yeah.
So it's a bit harder to work out, but
enough time. that has gone down. The base cost has gone down. Overall, they are cheaper, but they've lost that pip of AP and two pips of agility, which I think is huge. The Courtier of the Dawn has lost Awaken the Beast, which is massive because it always used to be fly and you get the spell, which was great and always taken.
Yeah.
Now it's gone. I think this is, to forget about the points, this is a huge nerf to the Ladies Courtier. And its main one being the Courtier of the Dawn. Courtier of the Dusk gains an extra pip of gallantry, where it didn't before, and has all the spells. So it's the spells haven't changed or anything, but the Awaken a Beast not being on the Courtier of the Dawn on a fly 816 model is a huge thing for this, and
it really is.
I think people are going to be upset by this change, and
I think
we'll have to change their
are
list.
going to be reached for with this one.
Yep, specifically from any folk heroes out there.
Yeah, the ordeal is beginning.
Yeah. Fey Knight gains exclusive, so cannot join units, and Gallantry 1. The points for it, used to be 335, it's now 320. And the Warden of the Hooded Man goes down from 335 to 325, so whatever that was.
I'm going to ask anyone who has the power to answer this question in the design team, can they tell me why the lists of upgrades on the left is in a different order than it is on the right? Because I just can't, like, the one on the right is alphabetic, the one on the left isn't, and I would love to know why that is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, then maybe there's a very logical reason. But anyway.
Yeah. It has got cheaper though, all round. So 5 points for the Hooded Man, 10 points, 15 points for the Green Knight, and Snow Child. I think it's Childy.
It's Childy.
Childy. But it gains Gallantry 1 and exclusive for what it's worth.
Yeah. Cool.
Which, deep breath, everybody, takes us to the end. And as you can see, the changelog is huge. So I'll just stick to the points for your viewing pleasure. But yeah, thanks very much for bearing with us. There's a bigger one, probably double the time of most of our other ones. So well done if you hung on for that. Tell us about your best fluff. We kind of pushed through that at the start, but tell us any fluff bits that you liked, and we'll tell you whether Matty P wrote it or not. Then also tell us about what you think of the update. It's a big one. Lots of things to process, lots of things to do. I definitely think the phase has lost out a little bit.
Apart from the Naiads.
Apart from the Naiads. More Naiads. Bring back Naiads. Peace for Naiads.
Absolutely.
Why not? Otherwise, just comment just general things about horses and gallantry. Your tales of gallantry, please. That would be great.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. I would.
Otherwise, like, share, subscribe. Do hit the notification bell so you get all of these in the next sort of week or so coming at you, bro. And
you won't be bored these next few days.
No, you won't. There's plenty to watch. Go on
Patreon, Facebook, and YouTube. You're already on YouTube,
Twitter,
Facebook,
Patreon,
all those.
OnlyFans. We're everywhere.
Yep.
Hit us up.
Yeah. If you can't find us, it's because you're not looking correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. But we will crack on with some other.
We need to
reviews. So thank you very much for watching. Well done for getting through this longer one. And otherwise, we will see you later.